3 reasons why to never argue with a poor person. Understanding their struggles. People facing or in poverty situations go through daily stresses, worrying about their financial situations. They have limited access to resources. They go through many things that we don't see. And the reason why I'm actually bringing this up is because I had a client who cut off a less fortunate person on the highway, and then that person reacted in a major way, throwing stuff at his car, just being aggressive. But then my client reacted. Instead of just letting it go, taking a deep breath, and just understanding that some people are just going through so many things, and it just takes one little thing for them just to erupt in a fit of rage. But if you understand that not everybody is fortunate, and everybody have struggles and stress throughout their lives that we cannot see. So in that situation, just be the maturer person. Let it go. Just let it go. Because there's people who have not much to live for, and they're ready to risk it all. So is it worth it? And I know you don't know who's poor or who's going through stuff. It could be anyone. And I'm not talking about poor just financially. This could be poor education, poor health, just a poor upbringing. So you need to understand that someone could be going through something that you cannot see. So if you are met with anger and they haven't physically hit you or attacked you, just be the bigger person and let it go. Because people may be going through things that you have no idea. Poverty can affect mental and emotional well-being. Living up in poverty can lead to higher stress, anxiety, and even depression, which then can shape that person's mind. So that person will have a different view on reality than you. So arguing with someone like that is pointless. It's best to have compassion and empathy towards them, because as someone who hasn't gone through that lifestyle, it's best just to get a better understanding of them instead of lashing out or matching their energy. Why not just try to understand? And I've seen this quite a few times where a person from a certain demographic are just very violent, more angry. And instead of trying to match their anger and violence, why not try to understand? Because that person's probably been through a lot in which you probably can't even comprehend. So instead of arguing, wasting time, just adding fuel to the fire, because this person is ready to burn down the whole house because all they know is violence, just try to understand, you know? Try to get them what makes them so violent. Just let them know there's no need to be a violence, you know? Because I'm sure I've never grown up in a violent home. We've always been able to articulate our needs, our disagreements. We are able to put valid points out there to get a better understanding of someone else's viewpoint. But when you're arguing with a poor person who hasn't had that implemented, they're going to be a lot more aggressive. 3, lack of common ground. People from different economic backgrounds have different viewpoints based on their experiences. So instead of arguing, it's just better to get an understanding, just so you can have a more respectful and productive a dialogue. And getting that understanding is not dismissing the argument, it's just approaching the conversation from a different angle to avoid conflict. And it's better for everyone. I mean, who wins in an argument? Because when you're arguing, no one's actually listening. It's just someone trying to yell more than the other person. So save yourself time and energy. Don't argue with a poor person. Get an understanding. If not, just let it go. Because there are people out there that are just living in circumstances that a lot of people cannot just comprehend. So be grateful, be happy that you grew up in a loving home. You grew up experiencing holidays. You grew up experiencing being brought to a good school. You grew up with parents who had great dialogue, and anytime there was a disagreement when you were younger, they they were able to converse in a respectful manner in which you learn. A lot of people don't have that. Because I remember one time I actually argued with a poor person, and it was just draining because they just didn't understand where I was coming from. So I was ignorant and never, because I knew and I was right, but I was right based on how I grew up. So instead of just wasting time and that person got angry and that person got so angry, someone else had to defuse the situation. And it was there for a longer than I ever wanted to. So if I knew what I knew now, I would have just tried to understand. Okay, fair enough. Oh, I completely understand where you're coming from. Why did you come that? Why did you come to that conclusion? And then you know what I mean. You get an understanding of the person. Then you probably end up empathizing or feeling sympathy for that person because then you realize of how good you had it. So 3 reasons why to never argue with a poor person, but just to be compassionate instead. Thank you for watching.